Big Up Sutherland TV. You see me? You wanna be me? Then log on to Sutherland TV.
Good evening. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's very important to the growth of this channel. Today's show, we'll spend some time diving into matters related to the education in Jamaica. This largely sparked by an interesting development on the island a few weeks ago, when Immaculate Eye, one of the island top school, did not allow one of its lower sixth form student to progress to the upper sixth form because the student did not achieve the standard set by the school. Wow. Several commentators, including popular radio personality Dion Jackson Miller, a very popular lady in the island, believed the stand taken by Immaculate was harsh because the student did not feel the lower sixth form subject. She went on to make the point that schools should not be allowed to use taxpayers' money in any way they see fit, and demand that the school be forced to reverse its decision by the Ministry of Education. I am reading. So allow the student to complete the studies in the upper sixth form. This matter highlights several issues around the power of schools have to set their policies in Jamaica. One of the burning questions: if Immaculate can do that to the sixth form student, what will eventually happen to students in the lower schools? That's a great question right there. To help us today to sort through the matters of this concern and other matters, this evening we'll have no other than a veteran educator, Ranny Sutherland, join us this evening. Let me see if I can get him in with us. Mr. Ranny Sutherland, good evening, sir. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm here.
Great to have you, sir. Great to have you. I must say, I introduced you earlier as a veteran educator, but I'm trying to find out, because I want you to share with our audience, actually, why should you be classified as a veteran educator?
I get to understand. I tell you something. If you're in the American Army, you spend 2 years down in Iraq and come back, you're classified as a U.S. Army veteran. That's only 2 years.
Right.
Well, I did 8 years teaching at the secondary or high school level, and also at the community college level. So I did 5 years at Cornwall College teaching mathematics and physics. Well, interestingly, when I was at Cornwall, I taught 4 subjects. I think I still have the record of teaching the most subject one time at Cornwall. I don't know if that happened anywhere else. So I taught maths and physics, and also workshop technology, what they call metalwork, and technical drawing, which is geometrical and mechanical drawing. So those 4 at Cornwall, and then I went to the Montego Bay Community College, where I taught mathematics and physics. And that in those days there were O levels and A level. That's GCE, the English exams. So I've that amount of 8 years teaching, and beyond that, when I changed career, because when I was teaching maths and physics in those two institutions, I was doing so from the training I got in engineering. And subsequent to that, I changed career pretty much to make marketing an emphasis of mine. And after acquiring my degrees and so on, both another first degree and master's, I continue teaching other subjects now at the college level. So I had another 7 or so years teaching part-time. Just about the only, well, let me not say the only, but certainly I've taught at what is now the University of Technology. I've taught at UCC. I taught at the Nova Southeastern, they had a cluster in Jamaica before, Nova Southeastern University, that's in Florida. I taught in the program at London University. And I know, but I don't want to list all that now. But that, I think, qualified me to be considered a veteran educator, both at the high school and the college level.
You know what's funny, my brother, is that a few weeks ago, I was driving home on the highway, and somebody called me and share with me what the position that Deon Jackson Miller had taken in and that this particular subject that we're going to be talking about, this matter that we're going to be talking about. But the truth is, they were unable to give me the full detail, and plus I was busy. And I did not call to mind that I actually have a family member that's in the education or being an educator that could shed some light on it for us. And so I had to leave it alone, even though other persons had called me and wanted to talk about it. But what you as a brother, I must tell people I'm so proud of you having your brother. He is my brother. I did not know that I have this family member that could shed some light on it. But let me say this though. You have a demonstrated strong passion about education. Why did you switch though? I just want to ask that question. Why did you switch away from education? I'm just curious.
Well, to be honest with you, and it continued to plague the educational, what I consider to be sector, talking about teachers and school administrators, that after a while, while I loved what I was doing, I just loved the fact that I'm molding young people's minds, and you see them flourish, they go on, pass exams, go on and do their tertiary education and come back in their big jobs and so on and so forth. I just love seeing that happen. But after a while, I just realized that the income is a huge part, and it continued to be. That income that I was deriving was just not sufficient to meet other goals that I had in life. And that was the strongest one. I had to move to somewhere where I could realize other, goals that I had set. And I stayed 8 years. I stayed 8 years in there. So, I don't feel any way about the switch. And it was purely for economic reasons why I switched.
You had strong views on about what happened at Immaculate High School. Kindly share with us and enlighten our viewers as to what took place and what we're really going to be talking about tonight.
Okay, so when you go to a high school in Jamaica, you're pretty much guaranteed 5 years. I know the government is now trying to move that 5 years to 7, but it is just in talk. Nothing has been done to formally make the switch from 5 years to 7 years. Most of the high schools in Jamaica do not have sixth form. Mainly what we call traditional high schools, which are the ones that you know about, the Mannings High School and Monroe and Cornwall and places like Titchfield. Most of those schools have sixth form, and they divide up their sixth form into 2 years. You have the lower six and the upper six. So after you leave out of fifth form, you go on into lower six. And the whole idea is that you're going to take 2 years. In my time, it took you 2 years to do A level. Now, what you have, and A level was just one level. So when you go to sixth form in my time, you go with lower six, upper six exam. Now, you do not have A levels anymore. You have what they call CAPE. And you have CAPE 1 and CAPE 2.
Right.
In the lower six, the first year in sixth form, you do CAPE 1. And then second year, you do CAPE 2. So you have two separate qualifications going on right there. At Immaculate, and Immaculate is one of the top rated schools in Jamaica. They're right up there with Campion,
that's true.
Turning out, 100%, 99% pass rate every year. The fact of the matter, however, is that they get the best students, like Campion and some of the other A-rated schools. They get the best students. And Campion take a view that we are going to, because we are blessed with the best students, and everybody want to go to all the girls. By the way, it's a predominantly a girls' school.
Yeah, I know that.
So every young girl in prep school and primary school now aspire to go to Immaculate. But because of the demand on Immaculate, they can work with just taking the brightest that comes out of what is now called PEP. Because of that, so it is very competitive going in there, very, very competitive. And the students in there perform at very, very high standard. And what Immaculate knows is that the only way to keep high-performing students performing highly at a high standard is to keep the standard high. You lower the standard, and guess what? The high-performing students start to fail, they start to perform poorly. So they know that is their thing. So from the moment you come into Immaculate, the standard is going to be kept very high because they have to challenge them. And plus, it is not fair, for you to be holding people out because of this high standard that you're holding. And then people in there now start to perform poorly, and people want to come in, can't come in. So if you're in there, you have to be performing high. That's the bottom. So in their case, in order to move from lower six to go to upper six, they're saying that in your lower six, you must pass 4 CAPE subjects with 4 1s. The pass grades for CAPE is 1, 2, and 3. I think they have even lower grade, but 1 meaning that you are performing excellently. 2 meaning that you are performing good. Your performance is good. And 3 mean that your performance is satisfactory. What they're saying that if you're in lower six to go to upper six, all your 4 subjects must be grade 1.
1. Okay.
Yes, because it's excellence that they are promoting at Immaculate. Now, everybody who goes to Immaculate knows that from day one. Everybody knows it. It's not something that they're springing on you later on in life. In the case of Immaculate, there's the instant one student got, and I don't know that she's the only one that it happened to, that got that kind of thing, but she protested it, didn't want to. The result of her not performing at the standard, our parents protesting it and everybody jumping up. So she got 3 1s and a 3. In other words, she got excellent for 3 subjects and satisfactory for 1.
And that disqualified her from moving to the upper six.
She did not attain the standard set in the school to move to upper six. Now, the argument of Jan Jackson Miller is that she never failed. She got excellent in 3, and the third one, the fourth one, she got satisfactory. So she never failed, which is a non-argument because
are you saying that the school have a standard?
A standard, yeah, that everybody knows.
That everybody is aware of the school standard. You must have 4 1s to progress to the next level.
That's
So
correct.
what would have been her argument then to fight she had 3, which would require 1 more,
Yes.
another one. And in that one, she had a 3, which is satisfactory, but not enough to take her to the next level. So what is really the argument?
Well, the argument is generally the argument that we have in Jamaica. It's a Jamaica argument. I tell you some time ago that Carl Stone told me many, many years ago that there are 3 things in the culture in Jamaica that makes up the culture. 1, bad mind and grudgeful. The other one is licky. And the third one is sympathy. So what you're having working in this situation is sympathy.
Sympathy. Okay.
Sympathy. So what they're asking Immaculate to do, which Immaculate is not going to do it, is to bend the rule, bend their standard, bend the rule to accommodate somebody who did not make it.
Make it to the standard. No. I totally agree with you.
It is like saying everybody that goes to Immaculate gets grade over 90%. Everybody that enter India get grade over 90%. It's like they want to go now because somebody is Mr. Big. To say, boy, my daughter get 89 or 88, can you put her? And Immaculate said, no. It is, you have to score over 90% to come in here. Now, it seems harsh, and I get that. It seems harsh. But you know what has caused the corruption that we have in Jamaica? That people are free to bend the rule from time to time.
Because that's sympathy.
Because they can do it.
Yeah.
In other words, the standard that is set doesn't matter to some people. Immaculate is saying we set the standard. So if you come to the school and you see anybody in upper 6 with less than 4.1, you know that something went wrong. Something went wrong right here, sir. So it is a sympathy argument, but it becomes a ridiculous argument because Jamaica does not have enough of what Immaculate is trying to do, which is to promote a center of excellence that people can drive to. Now, Immaculate is not the only school. There are many other good schools that student who did not make it to upper 6 because they did not get the 4.1s. There are many schools in Jamaica that will be happy to have her come there with 4.1s and a 3. Good schools, I'm talking about school like Wolmer's high performance school, probably St. Andrew high performance school, are then good schools that would allow her. So it's not like, boy, them just run away and you're gone, you can't find nowhere else to go. And that is how the system works in Jamaica from first form all the way up to 6th form. Only that between 1st and 5th form, Immaculate would not be able to turn a student out in 3rd form or 4th form because they did not get a certain, standard going from one class to that. But in the 6th form, the schools have a great latitude. It is not the same. The code that governs 6th form is not the same code that governs 1st to 5th form.
1st to 5th form. You seem to be impressed with Immaculate approach to setting high standard for their students. How can that approach be transferred to the rest of the schools in the country?
Well, so excellence, when you want to have a culture of excellence, any school who want to adapt it can adapt it. Any school. Because excellence may mean different things in terms of standard of work in different places. In other words, if you have a school now, like, let us say, Denby High in Canada, it's not yet known to be a top performing school. So you would have students being allowed there that got 60s and probably a little 70s and so on to get in there. Quite unlike what you would have to get to go into Wolmer's, where boy you have to be up there in the 80s and so on, and Immaculate in the 90s. So let us go to Denby, and Denby say, we want to put in a center of excellence in the way that what's it called? Immaculate is doing.
Mhm.
All they need to do first is to assess where they are. Where are the students that are coming in? You start with that because you have to be very strategic about it. What grades are they coming in? So you know, boy, that I'm getting some people in 60s and some little early 70s. So they know that's where they are working from. So if they were to do that, Immaculate is doing to say you have to get all in the 90s, within a year, and so that would not work. That would be unrealistic. So they would say, all right, you come in here with, let us say, an average 65. We're setting a standard where when you leave, you must all have grades of 75. It is not all the way up on 80 and 90 and so on, but they set the standard. That is what, and the teachers now would have to ensure that they work with students to get them up to that 75. So the first thing you do is assess where you are and where you want to go. The other one is that you can't be wavering about the standard you have. As somebody come and want it gone down back at 60 and some accept it at 45 and 50 and so on and so forth. So the whole idea of getting a center of excellence across it is to do what Immaculate is doing, not necessarily at the grade, but to put in something that everybody know what are the standards.
The standard.
So transparency is the first thing. The parents know, the student know, the teachers know, the board know, the ministry know, and they're working towards it. Transparency makes it. And the other one is stick-to-itiveness, that you're sticking to it. You're not budging, and so on and so forth. So it is about that strategic shift, where you set yourself goals, you work hard to it, you're unwavering about it, you're uncompromising, because excellence requires that you work hard. And the most important, that the goal that you set, because KC, for example, could not set a standard like what Immaculate does to say you have to have 4 ones. It wouldn't work. Nobody probably would end up in upper 6. So you have to set the goals at a level that is realistic and achievable. So that is how it can go across the entire country.
Great. Thank you very much for that. Over the years, there has been much criticism of the system that awards space to children in the top high school in Jamaica. What is your opinion on that, and how different can that be?
Okay. I believe that the system that we have to select students to go from primary and prep school to high school is a cruel system. Cruel.
Define cruel. What do you mean cruel? I want you to break that down.
Yeah. So I went to a primary school in a little village 9 or so miles outside of Montego Bay called Bickerstead. So I went to Bickerstead Primary School. In my common entrance class, there were 35 of us. And the year before me, I did the exam, only 1 person passed. So when I move up into grade 6 to my common entrance, there are 35, and only 2 of us passed to go to Cornwall College. The question is, I always ask myself, and I know about a few of them because I've seen them afterwards and so on. But the big question is, if only 2 little kids at 11-year-old and 12-year-old, pass to go to Cornwall or Mobile or Mount Alverna, wherever it is in the area, what happened to the other 33? Just imagine how heartbroken these students are every year, where 1 or 2 get picked out and gone, and then them left behind. Nothing, because at the time there were only what we call junior secondary schools for them to go to. Now, all of those junior secondary schools are now upgraded to what they call newly upgraded high schools. But nobody think about them any differently. Now, why I say it is cruel, it's, why are you at 11-year-old? Why are you, filtering out kids at 11-year-old? At 11, that is what is cruel about it. Just I remember all the tension, the anxiety, the trauma that I went through preparing to get one of them 1 little pass, and it is still going on to this day. Now, guess what? It is now worse than it was in my time. Because in my time, you don't do common entrance until you reach grade 6. you know. Sometime back in the day, depending on your age, you probably get 1 bite of the cherry or 2 bite or whatever it is. But no, they only allow to do the exam, the final exam, when you are 12-year-old. And in my time, grade 6 to do that. Now the kids at 4th grade start studying and being put under pressure from fourth grade. What you call grade 4. So you're under pressure in a grade 4. And not only the children, you know, the parents are under similar pressure to prepare them to help them. So grade 4, grade 6. Just imagine the work, all of that the kids are being put through just to get a little space in high school. I am so happy I heard the Prime Minister about 2 months ago expressing total dissatisfaction with the system. I was so happy to hear him say that it is cruel. You can't be doing that to little children. In America, you live in America, your kids going to school there. They just move on and then just move to the high school and then community and just move on. Now, the problem that we have is that you have so few spaces that are highly in demand. Few. So that is why the examination is necessary. If all the high schools, all of these new, the Denby, this we want, the Clancarty and the Mona High, and if all of them were at the same level of KC, JC, Wolmer's, and so on, if all of them are at the same level, there'll be no need for any exams. That put these kids through all of that pressure. And why it is so cruel, what makes it so cruel is that children tend to develop at different stages. You have what you call early developers and you have late bloomers and so on and so forth. So a child who failed common entrance, when I took it, I've seen a lot of them go on and do great things, you know, but they still have the kind of stigma that, boy, I never pass common entrance, I never go to a high school and so on. And it don't leave them.
Yeah. So you're saying that the current school system start to categorize students, which subsequently had pressure to the student, because if you're not able to pass the common entrance, and you've been in a Jamaica society where we have these classes, and you've been looked down at, basically.
Yes.
That's what you're implying.
Exactly. A quick story. I was at Champs one year, a few years ago, and I was with a friend of mine, and this guy is a wealthy guy, doing very well as his own business, more than one business, doing very well for himself. But he never went to one of the traditional high schools. So of course at Champs, you know, and everything, you know, the thing when stadium start to buzz because the KC, the JC, the Calabar, and the jump to my leg and thing, and you know, and he was there, and the guy looked at me, you know, and said, "Let me tell you something, man. There's a monkey on my back, you know, because none of the schools in there, he could not relate to any. He never go to any of them. You know, he went to a private school actually." And he came up and did very well for himself. But because him know about the school tie, we have to look at him and say, "Boss, I said that was your savior that you didn't get to go because you're doing better than me and me get to go one of them." You know, but that is the effect it has on little kids where they grow up, you know, not being able to relate to the school tie, you know, them friend things coming up, football playing, Champs coming up, and then you can't because you never get to go to one of them, you know.
I did that too, because I was a victim of that going to Belfield, which was a secondary school at the time. The Manchester High School and the Carteret College and all of them school there, you know, they always a gap. If somebody from Manchester High School called to me, you know, that walk and tell everybody, you know. We're in the same grade, you know, but the Manchester we go down. So I would have feel the pressure and feel the distinct gap between us.
And that is the biggest problem the country has. It perpetuates crime. Where you have that kind of gap, it breeds resentment. That is how the class structure come about, you know. You know, where you have some, you know, so you have an elitist educational system where, you know, some people, you know, got to go to those elite schools, and then others did not. And that is what, if you go and do the research, one of the greatest or the biggest contributor to crime is the inequality between the between the have and the have not.
Mm-hmm.
So the school system is where it starts. And until we can level that thing out, where it doesn't matter, you don't have to fight to go into a school because all of them have equal laboratories, play fields, good teachers, and I can tell you, there has never been, everybody know it, all of these sociologists and all those educational experts and so, all of them know what I'm talking about. But there's never been a government in Jamaica that tried to bridge that gap and say, well, we want to have it has, guess what? Because we want to keep it that way because that's what makes us feel important. That a few of us spend through
right.
We want the underclass. So that's
totally ignore the division that it's creating. They don't care. The class gap.
They don't care because they don't know the impact having on the psyche of the country, the division it is causing, the tension. When I look, I remember some years ago it was becoming very, very common where people are going and vandalizing schools in communities. Going there, want thief out them TV, thief out them this and that and so on and so forth. And some of them set fire to the school. And I remember again a conversation that I had with Carl Stone. I said, why would? Because I remember my little primary school in my little community. And I couldn't imagine who from the community will go there, go burn down my school, I go and break it down and mash out the glass and mash it up and so on and so on. I can't imagine. So I said, Carl, why would people in our community want to vandalize the school that is there to serve all of them and they grow up with it? He said, that's when he asked me, how much are you did the convention in your school? I said, 12. I'm 12 pass out of 35. He said, you think that 35 happy?
Let me get down to the final question before we take off. But it is so true though, because even in the district, I was raised in that district, and people, the girls that goes to, even the boys that goes to a certain school, there's a certain expectation of them and a certain conduct, a certain behavior. And so you would have seen the obvious gap between them, because there are certain people, even in my district, when I was going to Belfield Secondary, there are people that goes to Manchester High School, as I said before, they wouldn't talk to me because the weirdness. So I can see how that breed the classism, breed and maintain the classism. You have spent a fairly long time in the education system in Jamaica. What advice would you give the parent that would increase their chance of their child's success in the system?
Well, a quick one, let me tell you something. What I found is that a lot of kids who are not doing well, not passing exams, are brighter than a lot of those who are passing exams. So your kid go to school and them come back, them can't get more than 45 and 50 and so on, and you see other people getting 80 and so on, and you start to say, put it down. The fact is that different children learn differently.
Yes.
But the school system in Jamaica teach everybody the same, and they teach everybody like average. The fact again is that the teachers, most of the teachers in our school system are average when it comes to educational performance, average. So if you have a child who is a fast thinker, bright, quick, when that child go into that class, that child is as much a disadvantage as a child that has some learning deficiency. Child is bright, quick thinking. But when he's in that class and the teacher who is teaching a struggle to come up with the answer and a struggle to find the right word to say and a struggle for that bright kid get turned off, get bored, and they start to fail. So a lot of bright children are not doing so well, especially early in their schooling. That's the first thing. Now, if that is true, how can you combat that? Where bright children are, suffering. We're not getting to the remedial one. And my advice to people parents is to get their children tested as soon as possible. or is assessed, evaluated, whatever it is.
Yes.
Now, it is a very uncommon thing in Jamaica. A child will go through school, and I remember my son, and I'm supposed to be somebody who is, very, very alert and so on. And I did not know that my son was having, vision problem until he reached fourth form. Because when I was going to, if he went to Cornwall at the time that I went to Cornwall, we don't know a long time, because every year, God bless Herbert Morrison, he would come to the school and he would check for some basic things. And one of them was your sight. No, I'm not only talking about just your vision and your hearing. It is important that your child get tested, evaluated, and on a regular basis, because those things set them back. They are sitting in the middle of the class, and they can't see the board, and they're not calling up because they don't want to come across as different from everybody else. So you have a child and you don't know them can see well. You don't know if they're hearing well. Teachers talking, and when they can't hear after a while, they just give up. And what them hear, they hear. What they don't hear, they don't hear. But the other one is actually to check for their learning ability. Where they are on the scale. Is this a gifted child or not? Because if you do not discover that your child is gifted, and they go to these average teachers, average arrangement, and so on, that child is likely to fail because they can't deal with the arrangement. So the biggest advice that I would give to a parent is to get your child assessed as early as possible, from them grade 8, not grade 8, as soon as they are in grade 4, grade 3, as early as that, get them assessed, and not one, but as regularly as possible, because you want to see if they are making any improvement in anything that were noticed. And I'm talking about psychologists, educational psychologists checking them, people checking their sight, checking their hearing, and so on and so forth. Their IQ.
And checking how they learn, because students learn different ways.
That is the point. That's the point. So as soon as you discover how they learn, some of these educational experts, they will tell you where is best suited for your child. Is your child like our brother Devon? Devon have to work with him hand.
Right.
And them feel it. Right. And only to find that this is a brilliant guy who common entrance spit him out. Right. Luckily, he's just a lucky one who got another bite at the cherry at some other time and make the best of it.
You're right.
That's correct.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sutherland, for stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say this man is my brother. You had defined something that I think is of vital importance, because I'm always concerned about the gap and the classism where we can close the gap. And I think closing it in the school system is where it begins. And I notice it continues because we can't close it from down there. So until we close it down there, so we will never get rid of the problem that we have. And that includes crime. Thank you very much for stopping, my brother.
You're most welcome, brother. Cool.
Yes, sir. Cool. Yeah. One love. All right. There you have it. Ronnie Sutherland talking about and sharing his views and opinion on the education system in Jamaica. This evening, I'm not done. I'm going to move on with a very familiar face that was having some little issue last week with his studio. But I'm going to test it this week to see what his studio is like. Ladies and gentlemen, no other than this popular man, Dr. Rupert Francis. You've noised, Dr. Francis. It's noisy. I'm not hearing you. You got to go back to I'm not hearing you. You got to go back to the phone. It's not working. Go back to your phone. You have to use the phone and lift the studio out of it, Dr. Francis. You have to go back to the phone and lift the studio out of it. The studio now works. Studio, I don't feel. You have to go get a technician like me to help you with your studio. Yeah. So I am glad Ronnie Sutherland was able to swing by and shed some light on something that is of vital importance. Something that I'm always concerned about is the gap that we have, the classism, and where where we started and how can we end that. He had shared with us that starting by creating a level playing field in the school system, assess kids how they learn, right? And so that you can nurture them the way they learn, other than just applying this one learning system or way of teaching to them. You have to deal with a kid according to how they best learn. And he had mentioned a family member, which is a very brilliant guy, but the common entrance had failed him. But because we are Sutherland, we get a second chance to it, and he had made use of it. I am going to give Dr. Rupert Francis one more try, and anyhow it not sound good, you're going to hear me. Dr. Rupert Francis, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing great. It's so nice to see you. Before I get into it, Dr. Francis, can I ask you a personal question?
What's that?
Were you born ugly?
Better looking than you. And you even have on glasses, so how can I help you?
You can't always help me, Dr. Francis. You know, Dr. Francis, I am very much concerned about the election. There are people still talking about it. It's still in the air. People talking about even the cabinet that our next president farm and very scared. I want to ask you, because I was supposed to ask you last week and I did not get a chance to ask you. Were you surprised by the election outcome?
Absolutely surprised. I never thought that the Republicans could win.
Oh wow! How could you not thought that, Dr. Francis, when the Democratic the half Jamaican was what you call it? Did not have enough time to prepare.
No, stop that. That is only a misnomer. More than enough time. She's been there for 3.5 years before, and she should have been following everything that Biden has done. So she doesn't get no free pass on that one.
You think once you're saying to me that she had more than 3 months to prepare?
Listen to me, Dennis. I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to you is that I do not. I said to you, I was surprised because I saw the crowds that was around her. So don't bring in the 107 days that she was there. Just bring the where she was going and she was getting around. And I thought she was organized, but apparently she was not.
Was she appealing to you? Let me answer that. Was she appealing to you? Because I have different views. Was she appealing to you? Like in like the debates and
let me just say good evening to your viewers, because I haven't said that, and I just want to make sure that you know that I thank you for the opportunity, even though you insulted me at first, but that's all right. I forgive you. Let me say that in regards to this is an election that I'm telling you, it took me by surprise, because I really thought that the type of energy that I saw that was being out there, a lot of celebrities and so on and so forth, I really expected her to win, to really do much better than she did. Yes.
Oh wow. I can tell you it's almost can classify as a landslide, and I think
yes, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no, but listen to me. Every pollster. But I tell you something that I think has caused it. I kind of found it funny that every time you open a document, it says Kamala wins. And this was well before the you know what I mean? And every time there was a newspaper and there was something else and there was something else. But one thing I must tell you is that whether you like either side or not, doesn't matter. I do not believe in name calling in an election. Never done it, never will. I don't believe in focusing on the person. And I think that perhaps in this election has taught us a very good lesson that, you know, we focus too much on the person and not on the task that's ahead to win.
Yes, 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 yes.
And so that's
Yeah.
the issue.
But that's generally how Donald Trump run his election. It's always during the personal attack, and so others catch on to it. I remember how he viciously attacked Hillary Clinton, and you know, had to be honest, I have seen where the breakdown, the standard had breakdown in the U.S. election when in 2016 when Hillary and or in 2015 when Hillary and Trump had went for it. There was a lot of point finger and, you know, disgraceful way and calling names and all that. And I don't think that that's looking that looking good for American election. And I saw that. So we've been seeing that now for the past 3 elections, and it really not a good look. I think they should move away from that.
You know, when I hear you talk to, you're talking as if it's one-sided. I mean, and that's why people are always calling me names, because
I'm not saying it's one-sided, Dr. Francis, but I'm just saying it was inserted. It was inserted in that time.
No.
I really see it.
Listen. I heard you say it, and I listened to your brother earlier on, and you know, I heard some of the same type of. Listen, let me just say something. You know what I would like to see, and maybe I'm living in a utopia. I would love to just say straight up. 1, 2, you do it. 2, 3, we do it. You do it. It is wrong. I mean, we must concentrate, and the end result of it is that the side I thought would have won did not win, because they did not address the issues and tell the people what they wanted to hear. So that's why they lost.
Yeah, but Dr. Francis, they were talking about some vital things though that were critical to the people. They spoke vaguely on the economy. They spoke strongly about abortion. They spoke strongly about LGBTQ, and they had spoke strongly about the border.
Who spoke about it?
I heard questions on both sides, and they responded.
No. I'm just saying to you, which side was talking about those issues?
The both sides. I heard
no. But what I'm trying to say to you is that no, it was not. What happened was the people complained after you heard the election was finished. They said that the issues were not spoken enough by the side. Right, but by the other side, and the bread and butter, because people are saying, why does bread and butter things matter? It does, because you know, I went into the supermarket today, and in Walnut, I haven't been in there for maybe about 2 or 3 months, and when I saw the prices of certain things, I was amazed. You know, when I was there 3 months ago, it was maybe I'm making more than that. I don't even remember. But it was like $1 something, and now it's all $3, $4.
Yeah, man. There's just the price increase for that.
That's a 100% raise. Right? I mean, eggs. Let's take eggs for an example. You know, it's one of the. It was you could get a carton for 99 cents or $1.25. Now it's $3, $4. So you know, and when you're talking about your pocket, people have to think about that part. Okay. So it's not, you know, so you cannot avoid what the poor people are thinking of. And then to trump it all, I would, sorry to use that pun, a lot of people from the Democratic side did not vote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did not vote. Right?
You think they get complacent from the polls that were put out there, or because there was not there was not so intrigued by the person that was running on the Democratic.
Just a little while ago, you talked about the what you call the classism. They were saying that the Democrats were more class, oriented and forgotten them, right? Who they went for to assist? The people who were like, who were idols of and they forgot about them. And so they did that to show that, listen, we are important. You know what I mean? And where are we going to get the jobs from? And then don't forget about immigration.
Yeah.
So when you see, my view is
an unfiltered border.
What's that?
An unfiltered border. The border was not filtered.
Yes,
I mean, it was just open.
Yes.
An unfiltered border.
Yes. It was
a lot of people have different views on it. Dr. Francis, sorry to cut you. A lot of people have different views on it because they're saying they came here different ways and they think that the opportunity should be extended to people, to others. But I take a whole different position on it, Dr. Francis.
Let me tell you the truth. Whether they come here by train, plane, flying, walking, crawling, I honestly feel badly about what it could happen in this country. I feel very badly. But let me make it quite clear. I have a lot of friends, right? And colleagues in the South all over. And I've been told, I said to them, why you don't get the citizenship? He said, no, I mean, I'll get my citizenship because I don't want to lose my Jamaican citizenship. And I said, but you're here for most of the time. You should have it. And some people just don't bother. Some of them don't finish their green cards, man. I mean, you can't, I'm not saying just about our people, right? And you can't talk to them about it, right? And this makes me sad that the situation right now, though, it's a booming business now for immigration lawyers and paralegals and so on to get things right before January. I personally don't believe in what they call it, deportation of people who genuinely want to serve. I can understand the criminals, But
I heard about mass deportation, Dr. Francis. Do you think that legal people will be deported?
I personally, I'm hoping that it will not include people who are, well, there's data there, there's information to know who would fall into which category, right? And I really am not that for me, but I'm hoping that the people that I know and people I know around that have genuinely come here for the right reasons and not given any trouble while they're here, right? They should take that into consideration.
Not given any trouble while they're here, Dr. Francis. You're saying to me, if they have not obtained at least a green card, they are not given any trouble. They're working under the table. They are doing their thing. You're saying to me that they should given a chance. They should be given a chance.
Well, I don't. I think they should be given.
When all the legal process had been avoided, it did not happen. You came here to the border, but you behave yourself and you've been working good. You think that is enough? Should qualify a person to stay?
I never said it will qualify you. I am saying that I think that we, if people are in here and they have a path to citizenship, then they should be given that path to citizenship. Okay? That's what I'm saying. And but I'm saying to you, if you find out that there are criminals, there's about 4.7 million prisoners in the system who have committed themselves in heinous ways, certainly you cannot even think of giving them a break. But the problem I'm having is, how do you separate the good from the bad, And that makes my heart heavy.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult task. Dr. Francis, we were talking earlier, and you're a very rounded man. We have 3 minutes to go. We're talking earlier about the education system, and I'm pretty sure you have heard Ronnie's position on it.
Mhm.
You want to dive in on that a little bit, or do you share the same sentiments?
My view, I'm an educator myself. That's what my ultimate degree was in higher education. And I went from the bottom to that. The problem is that Jamaica's education system needs serious overhaul, and it starts with early childhood education. You really have to go right back to grassroots, like what you're doing in your basic school assistance there, and start with the children, motivating the children. We cannot leave the families out of this situation. And it's the government's responsibility to make sure that children are in school. When I was a youngster, they had a thing called a truancy. If you're out of school and you're not supposed to, they catch you and they carry you back to school, or your family getting problems. We need to go back to a situation where we care about our nation and we care about our children. That is what I'm saying. It is sad that this girl went to sixth form and she's having problems or something like that. But I was listen.
No, what he's saying is that there are different levels. Immaculate have a standard that for you to move up to the upper 6, you have to have 4 ones. That is the standard. The argument is that this girl who is in the lower sixth form, did only got 3 ones.
3
ones and needed one more one and did not acquire that, so that disqualify her.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
How could that be ridiculous? How could that be ridiculous, Dr. Francis, when the school have a standard?
So what? There's also a thing of flexibility.
So what with the school standard, Dr. Francis? The school have a standard.
Listen. Let me tell you something. My friend, when I was going to school, I don't like mathematics at all. I'm not a maths person. I know that your brother is, okay? So, but if I know people who didn't get math and don't, but they are brilliant lawyers, brilliant doctors, brilliant this. It takes time sometimes for people, and it's how you're trying to impart the information. I'm a teacher, and I'm telling you.
Dr. Francis, I know you are a teacher, and you was a student at one point. That's fine. I am saying to you, Dr. Francis, the school standard, the school have the ability to create their own standard. And they create a standard that in order for you to move to the upper 6 form, you must have 4 ones. And she make it to 3 and did not get the 4th one, and that disqualify her.
What is wrong with that? The 4th one? Where was it? A B?
It should get like a 3 or something like that. Whatever it was satisfactory, but it was not excellent, because they require excellent to get to
my brother, let me tell you something. Don't throw the baby out to the bathwater. As far as I am concerned, yes, you have a standard, and I respect that. But
you're not respecting the standard, Dr. Francis.
What?
You're not respecting the standard when you take a position like that. They are saying she should be given a chance. If you're saying she should be given a chance, that is ignoring the standard. If you respect the standard, then you would abide by it.
You know something? I am saying I'm a human being that looks at human factors and weight. And I'm telling you, one thing about I'm never been unsure of his education and how it works. And I'm saying to you should have given that child the opportunity to go forward and to create that, and it can be done. That's all I'm saying. Flexibility. That's the third principle of war, and they failed it.
And me, sir, I am highly disappointed in rare personality Dean Jackson Miller, who would have taken your position, and I'm equally disappointed in you, Dr. Francis.
And now I am equally disappointed in you.
How could you?
How could I? Because obviously you don't see the point, because you see, you've never been there. But can you imagine what you've done to that child?
I've never been there, Dr. Francis. This school, I'm saying, Dr. Francis, you have a standard. You have a standard, but you have the right to create your standard. The standard is not met, Dr. Francis. This is a standard. And the standard is not. Why should you be given a chance? And that is a problem that we're having in Jamaica.
What
Because
no,
you
you,
sympathy always.
no. That is not a problem we're having in Jamaica. We have disciplinary problems. We have a lot of problems in Jamaica. But let me make it quite clear: being a person who understands and empathy is not a problem we're having in Jamaica. Empathy. Yes, empathy. I'm
Dr.
sorry
Francis,
to tell you, but that's where I sit and that's where I stand.
Disappointed.
What's that?
I am disappointed in you that would have taken a position that the position violate the set standard. I said standard. I do not.
You know what is interesting? What is interesting? Yeah. In the country, we have certain standards that are being mocked by certain individuals, people in the higher echelons. Okay, and they get away with it. And I'm not asking you to give anything. I'm asking you to get that child, motivate that child to do better. And having her adapt with 3 ones and one other, then you give her some type of class and an opportunity to make it up. We do it all the time at the university.
Well, I think there's a way that he can go and reset it, but he should go through all the procedures that he requires. There is no
but you don't know that they went through all of those procedures.
That's why I'm saying they have to go through it to go back and requalify. And I support that. You don't make it, you could have 3.5 and 3 3/4. You still not have the 4 ones. And so I am in agreement that she should be disqualified. And that's
you're not in agreement.
Position.
You are of the opinion, but you're not in agreement.
I am in agreement when I am a person that believes in standard, Dr. Francis. So my guide is a standard. There is a set standard, and the standard has not been met, so that disqualify you. That is my position.
Okay.
That is my position.
My friend. I am not going to argue it anymore. Your standard.
You know I have a point. But again, Dr. Francis, it's always a pleasure sharing space with you and just talk about the things in life, the things that are important, the things that affect our day-to-day lives. And I really appreciate you stopping by and spending a few minutes.
Yes, unfortunately, something's wrong with my computer. I don't know what I'm going to have somebody check it tomorrow.
All right, Dr. Francis, get a computer. Blessings and
well, now that you're rich, I know you're very rich. Let's see if you can just, humble yourself. Thank you very much.
All right, test me I just.
Have a good evening, everyone. Take care. All the best.
All right, Dr. Francis.
Okay, there you have it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. There you have it. Dr. Rupert Francis with us this evening, closing out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure sitting in with you this evening. We had earlier Ronnie Sutherland, who would have given some vital insight and the school system in Jamaica. And I want to say again, thank you, Ronnie, for stopping by. Thank you, Dr. Francis. Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and remember, subscribe to Sutherland TV. Have a blessed week, and we'll talk next week again. All the best.
Big up Sutherland TV. You see me? You wanna be me? Then log on to Sutherland TV.